spawning up in the top left-hand position as the pink Zerg player. It is none other than Core EU's JonnyREcco. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the orange Zerg, it's Jamesykins from Infused. Both of these two are pretty awesome. Both very strong Zergs, some of the best in the UK, and it could go either way. And well, if it goes in JonnyREcco's favour, he's got the chance to take a top spot. And now that he knows he's going up against Zane, it's going to be a ZVP. Generally speaking, JonnyREcco's favourite matchup is ZVT. That's the one that he himself prefers. But whether that works out for him in ZVP, we'll have to wait and see. And that is, of course, assuming that he's able to overcome Jamesykins, who's been showing some incredible performances recently and is a very, very solid player. And not to mention that ZvZ as a whole is incredibly volatile, incredibly tough, can swing either way, especially when both players are of a high caliber. All you need is one unlucky bailing hit and things can go wrong. Not to mention the danger of getting into some kind of muta battle and just being short of one upgrade and things going damagingly wrong for you. So lots of cool things can be happening. Of course, this is game 1 of the best of 3, so a lot of time for people to try different things. Currently, they're both opting just to go for the spawning pool first opening. So, very safe stuff, nothing too scary for the time being. Instead, they're both just sitting back and going, you know what, let's make sure things don't go too wrong. Both players expanding off the back of it though, relatively similar times. Literally 2 seconds between their builds. It's minimal. Literally hardly any differences. I think JonnyREcco managed to squeeze a drone out fractionally sooner because he delayed his spawning pool by like a second or two. But it's not enough to really be worrying about. And of course, Jamesykins now goes up in terms of the drone count just because of the cast timings and stuff. So as I said, ZvZ, very minor things can make a very large amount of difference. And well, as you're sitting in that sort of position, you definitely want to be trying to make sure you get a bit more of a solid position. And ideally want to be trying to get some kind of advantage there if you can. Now, as we take a look around, really both of them sitting pretty safe. Good overlord placement, of course. Good places to put overlords on this map are up on here. Up on the spike, where, of course, you don't need high ground vision to attack them. And you can also escape from a queen there quite easily. Don't let the overlord run away that way, though, because the queen can come along and hit it. You just run up to there. That is the safe place for the overlord, where only mutalisks or corruptors could kill it. So, now you know that. Not much else to say. Speed coming down for Jamesykins, but he's still mining with 3 drones in the gas. So he's going to be going up to those lovely banelings and probably up to a lair. And yeah, then likely to go into muta on muta. It still seems to be the majority of the meta game in at least high level ZvZ games. There are other options for things you can do, but yeah, I'd say this is a very safe game for the time being, and really they're not going to be committing too much. Both players baneling nest. JonnyREcco could start up his baneling nest pretty soon. He's got enough gas for it. So could Jamesykins, and literally Jamesykins there starts up his baneling nest just before JonnyREcco's. JonnyREcco's fractionally down in terms of the timing of his build, but by such a small amount that it's negligible. So, where do they go from here? What we're looking out for is when lairs get started and when the additional gases get started. That's going to imply whether we get quick mutalisks or if they're going to just try and squeeze out a few more drones or not. Of course, JonnyREcco is generally considered a macro-orientated player, so he likely wants to try and play this out as much as possible, but both players pumping drones quite nicely. Interestingly, Jamesykins grabbing a few more drones out because Recco was fractionally down due to getting a few more Zerglings than that of his opponent early on, just to keep a bit of map control. But yeah, as it stands, everything looking okay. There's the additional gas, there's the lair coming down just now. 3rd gas getting taken, 4th gas getting taken, everything going along nicely. JonnyREcco, meanwhile, getting an evolution chamber down. Not a build that you as often see. Note that he also has not yet started his lair, even though he's got quite a bit of gas banked up. There he goes for the lair. So, just a tad later than it was previously. Additional gas is getting taken. Only 2 additional gases. The 4th one not yet started. This is going to give Jamesykins a nice little gas advantage, and we can see the amount of gas being mined. It's about 230, 250 compared to about 100 for REcco at the time being. That's obviously going to be a little bit frustrating for him, especially once we see Jamesykins utilising all 4 Vespian geysers. So what's this plan by REcco? He's getting +1 missile attack. He's probably going to be going for probably some kind of roach timing, if not getting some hydras out. But we see these links come in and they do get the little spot now on that evolution chamber. That's the important scout that came down. As he sees the Evo, he knows that that's going to be for probably +1 missile attack. Could also be for hydralisks as well as roaches. But note Jamesykins has invested in his own roach run, getting down a few defensive spines to buy himself time to get the mutalisks onto the field. That's really what we're looking for here. JonnyREcco though, 3rd hatch coming down, no 3rd hatch yet for Jamesykins. Defensive banelings are being placed around 2. For the moment, REcco just getting down the roach run. With the lair, he can start roach speed, obviously. That's going to be beneficial if he does want to be moving around. But he's lacking anti-air. If this Spire finishes in a sizable number of mutalisks, then it's going to be difficult for REcco, at least in the mid-game, to deal with that if he doesn't get mutalisks of his own. Later game, when he gets Infestors out, when he gets Hydralisks out, he'll be in a better spot to do it. But short term, he'll be able to defend with spores. So that's kind of transitional period in the middle. Now, JonnyREcco is going to lose a queen there and may actually be forced to cancel this hat-trick as Jamesykins comes plowing through with a good number of speedlings, and there just isn't an answer from REcco at the moment. He's sending some roaches over, forced to cancel nonetheless, and that means Jamesykins doesn't really lose anything by starting his 3rd any later. He's actually gained a bit of damage done, so that's going to be good news for him. Mutalisk coming out, and no +1 flyer attack is on its way. The reason that flyer attack may seem perfectly normal to some, but to some Zerg players as crazy, is because it's ZvZ. If you think your opponent's going Mutalisk, you get the Carapace, because it reduces the damage of the bouncing glaives. But because Jamesykins has scouted that there isn't a Spire, and he's seen this evolution chamber and a lot of roaches, he knows that there's not going to be the money to get a Spire down, and therefore there can't be any mutas. He wants to increase his damage as much as possible with those to deal with any potential roach push, as we're seeing now. Roach speed just about to kick in, but of course, roach run upgrading can be seen by these speedlings. But there's 3 spines down, and already 9 mutalisks. The mutalisks gonna intercept the roaches coming through and start dealing some nice damage. Bear in mind, these roaches do have +1 attack. The muta's just trying to be split up, but look at the damage being done here. Really nice, very effective against these roaches, especially when they can't shoot back. But roaches are going to try and take out that base, but they're distracting the mutalisks, allowing some roaches to come in here towards the main. They're trying to get out of range of those spines. A little bit of damage being done to the Zerglings. The roaches on the low ground can shoot up, but they don't deal too much damage. The mutalisks still attempting to take out a couple of these overlords. A few more roaches coming around the back and trying to do a bit of fire there. A queen will get sniped down, but with only a small group of roaches making it up into the main base, it's not traumatizing. JonnyREcco attempting to get down pathogen glands, combating the mutalisks on the growth. But if he's able to do some nice damage, if really Jamesykins is able to keep up his 3rd, he's going to be in a good spot. But at least JonnyREcco's got his own 3rd up now and has been denying mining from here for the time being. And yeah, if he's able to make that work, he's going to be very happy. Spore Crawlers being thrown down everywhere. This is the short-term defense I was talking about. But the Mutalisk flock is already up to 17. That's pretty potent. Note as well, the Mutalisks come around the back here, and they could actually attack this hatchery from the back position without taking fire from these spores. If Jamesykins identifies that, it would be very good for him. A lot of overlords. Oh no, the overlords from JonnyREcco are going to take a good amount of fire. 2 get taken down. He could probably even get a 3rd one if he wanted to. Spore Crawler gets 1 shot off, but these 2 extractors going to be taken down pretty effortlessly. JonnyREcco with some infestors about to pop out. Needs those fairly quick to get a fungal growth. 1 good fungal growth over the Spore Crawlers and Queens to deal a hell of a load of damage. And as you can see, this hatchery is being focused now by the Mutalisks. And JonnyREcco realizing he's got a bit of a problem at the moment. Interesting thing there, that Spore Crawler not taking any damage. That's quite unusual. Yeah, Infestors there, chain fungling the Mutalisks, but the hatchery has already gone down. Those chain fungals hurting a lot. The Spore Crawler is dealing some good damage too. The Mutalisk flock took a lot of fire. No Jamesykins as well. Isn't actually mining here. Oh no! He hasn't set the rally point. Okay, he realizes that's good. He just hadn't set the drone rally point. The Infestor's been revealed though. The Mutalist's taken a good bit of damage, of course. JonnyREcco though has lost a considerable amount, and while he may have lost slightly less, he's also now not mining from a 3rd again and lost the 3rd hatchery. But a couple of drones getting taken out. We've also got more roaches coming in here, trying to pressure, trying to pick up any drones that they can, trying to deny a bit of income, and roaches still pushing through for REcco. He does have +1 attack with these, just running straight past those spying crawlers as if they were Facebook folks ignoring them, and he's going straight for the drone line. He wants to keep Jamesykins low in terms of his income capability. With +1 air weapons, these mutalisks actually hurt quite considerably, but as we can see, the infestation pit has just finished up for Jamesykins there. But he doesn't have pathogen glands. He's also getting the 1-1 upgrades at the moment. And the muta flock is not that large. 12 of them on the field. Note as well, JonnyREcco's killed 16 workers. 11 killed by Jamesykins at the moment. But even though this third hatch has been up, it hasn't actually ever been mining effectively until this point. By not mining effectively, it limits how effective things can be for these, really for Jamesykins, and allowing JonnyREcco to level it out and actually get himself into a bit more of a level pegging. Now, road speed is coming down as well as these 1-1 upgrades. So, with +2 only just on its way now, if 1-1 finishes, it will be a small ground upgrade lead for Jamesykins. But JonnyREcco, with a lot of infestors, if he gets a good fungal on a clump of mutalisks, it could all be over. And remember, the spore crawlers grant the vision needed to allow JonnyREcco to reposition his infestors. There are the odd spore crawlers around too, so if there is an engagement over a spore crawler and a fungal growth went down, that would be absolutely devastating to Jamesykins. Drone count slightly in JonnyREcco's favour, who's mining from the third again. Overall, the resources lost fairly similar, slightly more lost by Jamesykins, but I think it's made up a bit more than that, just due to having that third base down and never having it sniped off. But there's a good number of infestors here. The Queen's pushing forward as well. Get the kill on the Overlord. Note those mutalisks really hurt, like massively. Burrow coming down here for Jamesykins. Road speed nearly finished too. The infestors just need one good fungal. Once the first fungal hits a good clump, chain fungling is easy peasy. It is just the first one. So this is where we're seeing a very brave Jamesykins. Now retreating back, realizing, hang on, I'm dicing with the devil right now, and I do not want to get anything bad happening. The infestors are burrowed, so they're going to be sneaking forward, and with no detection. These, oh, beautiful play, burrowing them down. A couple of infested terrans getting thrown into the mix. Chain fungals are going to be coming out. Not all of the mutalisks were there, but the next fungal will catch all of them. That is pretty big. A quick little burrow. Chain fungal still going down, trying to kill as many as possible. These roaches are going to have to engage. Good fungal growth down there from JonnyREcco, but a few of the mutalisks able to stay up. The 1-1 upgrades done for Jamesykins at the moment, compared to the 2-0 upgrades of JonnyREcco. He's still pushing forward. Mutalisks chipping away any which way they can. And Overseer for Jamesykins just getting morphed in case that burrowed infestor play tries to resurface. And smart play here by JonnyREcco, splitting up these roaches, trying to force Jamesykins to the side. Does have the observer though, forces the unburrow from JonnyREcco at the moment. A couple more drones trying to get taken out, but good prioritization by Jamesykins, focusing really nicely, preventing too many drones getting taken down. Of course, REcco's still slightly up. He's got 7 more infestors coming down. Does have this 9 mutalisk flock though still to deal with. With infestors alone, as we saw there, it can be difficult to do, but the spore crawlers are still spreading forward. The 4th base up now for REcco. But can he hold it against this many units? Army supplies 10 in favour of REcco, and he gets the fungal growth over the spore crawler. That is exactly what he needs. He needs to chain fungal those mutalisks though. That's the important thing, focusing instead on those roaches. Of course, the spore crawler has now been taken out. A couple of infested terrans getting onto the field. Another fungal growth will go down. The roaches for REcco, superior in number, able to deal some nice damage. But without the spore crawler, the mutalisks dealing damage any which way. Counter aggression is going to be coming in. A few infestors are hidden down the bottom. A few infested turns are getting shut down. Just trying to buy a bit more time for the spores. But the mutalisks, if they attack this base, will run into the issue of, hey, there's a lot of roaches heading for my own base. I need to go and defend that. This game, so back and forth at the moment. A really solid ZvZ being shown by both of these two players. REcco, once again, splitting his roach army up. Going to try and deal some damage at the third here. Attacking these roaches, focusing them down, but Jamesykins with a lot more coming through. Probably can't focus the lair, so needs to try and kill as many drones as possible. 2 roaches down here working as a good little hit squad. A bit of Jamesykins' army not actually getting involved in this. 2 roaches burrowing, but with the Overseer, that's been revealed. JonnyREcco's killed 26 workers this game, but critically, he's kept up that hatchery. He's also producing a lot of queens, just for the added anti-air. An infested Terran and roach attack in the main base. I didn't catch this initially, but this is doing actually quite a nice little chunk of damage. The infested Terrans able to focus down a good number of drones, taking only 30 drones for Jamesykins, 51 killed, a couple more roaches down here to the third, some in the natural. This is JonnyREcco just saying, you know what? Try and defend everywhere at once, and that is something that Jamesykins can't do with these Mutalisks. They have to be together to be effective, and JonnyREcco now has slaughtered the economy of his opponent, nearly reducing it to a third of his own size. And well, we don't need to be a genius to realize that that's obviously very good. 25 workers to 67, 4 bases to 3. But can Rico actually put the nail in the coffin? He's up 116 army supply to 76, now 82. The Infestors, though, sitting back at home. It's the Mutalisks that are scary. Once again, it needs another good set of chain fungal growth. And if those chain fungals can go down, maybe it'll all work out good. But in still come the Mutalisks, picking off any overlords they can find. Roaches getting ready to go into the third, getting ready to go into the natural. JonnyREcco still poking and prodding any which way he can, and now getting down the Hydrogen. That's a nice addition. But more drones going to be going down. They burrow up. Smart play burrowing those drones, just making sure they can't be doing too much more. The Hatchery trying to get focused, but I think the Mutas should be able to save it. A couple of drones getting taken down here. Not too much. Of course, the Spire is going to get focused. If the Spire goes down, that would be huge. JonnyREcco has an Infestor hidden in the corner. The Spire falls and drinks no more Mutalisks, and that is just such an amazing sniper for Rico. He's been attacking into the third. He's keeping his opponent down at under half his own drone count. The Infested count getting pretty high. More roaches coming out. Altogether, Rico just doing a great job of attacking multiple bases and forcing Jamesykins to prioritize. But, well, another Spore Caller coming down. There are Infestors and Queens on the high ground. All we need to see is Rico get into a defense position and get the chain fungal down. What Jamesykins needs to try to do is somehow pick apart at drone lines, pick apart key tech, but he's got to do so without clumping up his Mutalisks and risking just a fungal growth hitting. One fungal growth, especially when these 11 Hydralisks come out, could be the end. A couple of chain fungals plus Hydras is a huge amount of damage coming out on those Mutas. And with no Spire, not much more can be on the way. The Evolution Chambers taking some damage now by the Infested Terrans. They're attempting to focus them down. One does fall, which means no double upgrades. +2 can get started, but remember, JonnyREcco's already at 2-0 compared to the 1-1 of his opponent. +1 Carapace nearly finished for Rico now. That will give him an upgrade lead if he's able to complete it. But now moving on in, the Hydralisks, the Infestors there. Roach Hydra Infestor reminds me of Wings of Liberty, but just with the added Queen stumbling across. A lot of Infested Terrans get thrown down. A couple of Fungals. Where are the Mutalisks? They're coming in from behind. The Fungals trying to go down. The Hydralisks need to start prioritizing them. Get some more Fungals. The Hydra dealing a lot of damage. The Roaches at the front are getting taken down, but it's the Mutas. Once they go, Rico's actually in a good spot. He can come in, he can get another fungal growth down. He's got enough energy on that Infestor to do so, but prioritizing getting Infested Terrans first. Able to push through, able to deal a lot of damage here, able to knock down a couple of Overlords and keep pushing forward. This ability is showing a huge amount of potential, and with the Queens transfusing the Hydras, Jamesykins looks to be in trouble. He's down to 14 supply, and boom, victory for JonnyREcco.